So you find out one of your coworkers gets promoted, and the first thing out of your mouth is, hey, I've been with the company for 10 years. This guy's been with the company for 2 years, maybe a year and a half, and all of a sudden they're tapping him on the shoulder and having him move up. What's up with that? So what do? If you do like most people, the natural reaction is you're pissed. You're irritated. You put 10 years of your life in with this company only to have somebody else that's only put a little bit of time and get directly promoted, and you can't figure it out. Well, let me help you with that, because it happens all the time. So I'm not talking just to you. I'm talking to you and hundreds of other people just like you. And I just want to help you understand where that's coming from. You take a sports analogy, you might have been on this football team for years, or on this baseball team for years. You've been there every time. You got a pretty good average. You got a lot of hours playing in it, and they just hired a first round draft pick, and he's starting in front of you. What is that all about? Well, if you're that guy up in the luxury boxes, called the owner of the company, you know what that's about. That owner only has one thing in mind, and that is to win. And by winning, that team's successful, brings in more money. He's got more money in his pocket. Everybody's happy. You got the ring on your finger, whether or not you played half of the season. But the only thing in that owner's mind is winning. So to get a first round draft pick, superstar out of college that heads out there and he's starting and he's playing most of the game, that can kind of help you understand maybe where things are with you being with a company for that many years and not being recognized. Number two, sometimes being too familiar in a company is actually a detriment, because if you think about it, if you're 10 years with a company, maybe you started with the company, and the guys that are higher up that are making those decisions, in their mind, oh, I remember, it's almost like you grew up in town. You grew up on the same street as me. I remember him riding his little bicycle all over, and then he, grew up or whatever, and next thing you know, is an 18-year-old kid, but they still don't look at you as a grown-up. They don't look at you as a young man or young woman. They still have in their head that kid that rode their bike across and maybe got into their garden or let the dog out or something. They still have those memories of you, and that's sometimes it's hard for them to overcome and view you as somebody that actually is someone for them to invest in. That happens. I've seen it. Another thing is what I tell people first thing when because I believe me, I've heard this frustration expressed to me a lot over the years. I've got 45 years in this. I think I know what I'm talking about. I have paid attention. I've watched, and I've actually studied this rather than just react and get with part of these guys. And so let's be honest. Let's be honest with yourself. What about you? Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you first, and let's do a little honesty exercise. Let's talk about you for a minute. How do you look to the company in your mind? So you've been with 10 years. What did that 10 years consist of? This is what I'll ask you if you're standing here in front of me. What have you done in that 10 years? Well, the first 5 or 6 years, I was kind of playing around. I was a little goof off. I was always messing around with people and not being too serious. But, I'm serious now. But do they know that? And have they seen that consistency of, hey, you are serious about moving up? Or did you finally get jolted awake because someone got promoted and, hey, that should have been me, and I haven't been doing my homework? So be honest. Let's just start with there. I'm not criticizing or anything. I just want you to, watch this video by yourself. It's just you and me. So be honest. What are they seeing? What have they seen over the time that you worked with them? Okay? If the answer is, yeah, I've been kind of a screw up and haven't been taking the job too seriously, and I'm kind of slouching when I'm in a training session or whatever. Maybe they're trying to teach us about something, or maybe the first aid classes when we have to do the CPR or something like that. I'm not really paying attention. So what are your bosses, what do they see? So if you can honestly tell me, you straight up, you've been doing everything you can to be recognized, okay? So if you have been doing everything, because I've been in that position before. Years ago, I used to think that if I was the fastest, most productive person on the job, I was destined to be the first foreman that they picked. And I come to find out that it wasn't that. It was the guy that, a drinking buddy of the boss, and the reason he picked him to be the foreman and to stay on is because the drinking buddy of the boss lost his license, and this guy drove for him. So he was his commute buddy, and so he's going to be the foreman. He's going to be the next foreman. Right or wrong, that's the world out there. That's what we deal with. It happens in corporate. It happens in everything. You be a drinking buddy. You be on the bowling team or the curling team, whatever. Fish, golf, live next door, nephew, cousin, whatever. That's what you're up against a lot of times. Other times, they see something in this person that they like, and they want to move up. So what are your options right now? Well, first of all, my first level of advice for you is keep your mouth shut. First thing out of your mouth should not be serious. If you start whining to your coworkers and going crying to the boss, first of all, it's not going to do anything to change anything. It's going to make you look like an idiot. So keep your mouth shut. Suck it up and go congratulate that person that moved up and say, hey man, let me know where I could help, and leave it at that. And then go back and consider yourself once again. So let's get back to, hey, you're telling me that you've done everything. You've been a faithful, solid worker for the company, and yet they're still not recognizing you. Well, I'm going to tell you where you have an incredible advantage right now. And you say, how's that possible? I just got passed up by someone that I consider less than me. Well, you have a huge advantage because you can create your own promotion. And if you're one of these guys that has the company tattoo and named your dog after your first foreman, and you go to all the picnics and go to all the little love fests that they have, and we're a family and everything like that, then that's going to be tough for you to take my advice here. But if you're there to work and to pick yourself up and to improve yourself every day, I'll tell you what to do. You take that 10 years and you start creating a package, and you sit down and you start writing out all of your skills, everything. Communication skills, you have computer skills, do you know anything about scheduling? Do you know anything about how the job site works? Other than, I know how to tell this guy what to do. Do you know how jobs are built? What it takes to get a job built? Do you know how packages are put together to get a job built? Do you know how to talk to people? Do you know how to talk to people without profanity? Can you handle that part? So start writing down all of your skills and all the things that you can do, that you're capable of. Anything you can think of, I don't care how small it is. Write down all those skills, and then go get a haircut. Start getting on the phone. Start making some contacts here and there, because what you have going for you right now is you have a record of being with a company for 10 years, and that is huge. If I'm your next employer, and you tell me you're currently working, you don't quit, you're currently working for someone down the street, another company, and you would like to move up. There's not as much opportunity to move up with the company at present. Just wondering if you had a position that you could move into as soon as possible, that would bring you up. They might say, really, 10 years with a company? All right, we'll move you into this position right now. You just created your own promotion. And that's what I call lane changing. And if it's done right, it only builds you up so that as you go along, you're farther along than anyone else of your competition. So stay with me.